Knock-off time at what used to be called the Blackball Hilton, we'll come to that later, is a good time for debate over a pint. We begin by asking local Jeremy Smale what issues are important to him ahead of the election.
Well, it could take a long time if I was to drag it out. There seem to be quite a few nitwits in Parliament that don't seem to be able to sit on their seat for very long. They're always jumping up and down and running away. Why can't we get some more responsible people in Parliament, in my opinion? I think that's one of the most important. They seem to be all about having a go at each other and not getting on with looking after the country.
Is he confident this will change?
I might be getting old and crusty, and I've got a few friends that are even older and crustier that would probably agree that some of these youngsters don't seem to have much nous, and I look at them as if they're still wearing nappies.
Mr Smale's mate, Jerry Grieve, also holds a good deal of scepticism.
Things have been mismanaged. There's no thought for for people. It's more about who lives in Wellington and the beehive and how we can best run our own agenda without and getting re-elected seems to be more important than running the country.
These days, Blackball, about 25 minutes drive from Greymouth, attracts its fair share of tourists, an industry replacing mining as the coast's most important.
We were nearly destroyed, the entire west coast, when they shut down all the mining. And they transferred high-paying, productive jobs for low-paying tourism jobs. Okay, we caught that. Now the tourism jobs are online and we're improving. But we'll never improve to the state that we were prior to the shutdown.
Mr Grieve says part of living in a small town is helping others out if you can.
We're fortunate around here that the average Joe Blow isn't like in Christchurch, Auckland and various other cities. We've got a bit of land, quarter-acre Kiwis kind of thing, still in that archaic way. And most people have a few chickens, they've got a vegetable garden.
Outside in the setting sun is Wayne Henright, one of the founders of gourmet condiment business Blackball Black Garlic, who I ask about the cost of living.
We haven't made that many sales lately, and being winter too, like it's always a quiet time of year. And cost of living for me is I always grow my own vegetables and that, so I don't need to buy that much at the supermarkets, like, except for meat and stuff like that. And so it hasn't hit me that hard.
The town is in the West Coast Tasman electorate, New Zealand's largest, which stretches from the top of the South Island down to Mount Aspiring National Park.
Damien OConnor, he's our coast sort of person. I don't really get a lot out of him. We need a local party here, like we can make the coast to coast, the Republic of the West Coast. It'd be great.
The Blackball Inn owner, Jane Wells, is clear about the top election issues for her.
The cost of living, of course, the cost of petrol. I mean, Blackball is 22 k's from Greymouth, where a lot of people work, so that's begun to add up quite significantly if you're working there. The cost of groceries is on everybody's lips, and our rates here are pretty horrific, and our local council blames central government for that.
Locals still say this is traditionally a Labour town, but Ms Wells isn't happy with its performance in government and its refusal to implement a capital gains tax. Now that name, formerly the Hilton, co-owner Cynthia Robbins explains it came after the Hilton hotel chain got wind of what was then the Blackball Hilton and threatened legal action.
The Hilton hotel chain said that they had the worldwide trademark for the word Hilton, but they didn't. They only had the American trademark. But the owners at the time felt that their pockets weren't quite as deep as an American corporation, and so they said, if you give us a sum of money, we'll change the name. So at that point, the Hilton hotel chain gave them an undisclosed sum of money, and they took that sum of money, and with it they built the biggest septic tank they could so they could still shit on the bastards after all.